Hello and welcome to Pod Popper's Place. I'm Penny and today I am hopping along with Kendra's Card Challenge number 17. Kendra's Card Challenge runs from January 1st to March 31st and it is a quarterly challenge where you make 15 cards with 6 sheets of 6x6 pattern paper. There are lots of prizes to be won if you enter, so please hop along and get some inspiration. Today we are working with Colorado Craft Company and they sent us some goodies to work with. I chose to work with this Shenanigans Lovely Leg stamp set, and although I am not Irish as far as I know, I would call myself a European mutt, so who knows. My mother used to always say that we would get into shenanigans when we were kids, and so I thought it would be funny to send her a card with that very sentiment. I will be using these 4 digital papers that I printed from one of Kendra's past bonus printables and card sketch 11 from challenge 17. I recently saw this technique from Lou Collins, and I will link her YouTube channel down below, where you melt embossing powder just by itself. And so I really liked the technique and thought I would use it today. I picked out 4 different embossing folders from my stash, and several of them really match the paper well, but I ended up going with this kind of plaid design for my technique here. And I'm using just some parchment paper, and Lou Collins had some parchment paper that looks quite a bit thicker and heavier. So mine does tear every single time I do this and I have to get a new sheet. I'm just using old embossing powder. This is like embossing powder I wasn't sure what I was going to do with other than throw it away. So I just poured some embossing powder in there, and you don't want it too thick because it will really take a long time to melt. And I just tried to get it as nice and flat as possible. And then I heated it up, and you can see the color kind of change as it does melt. You want to make sure it's pretty much all melted, otherwise you will have some of the powder coming out of your folder. And then you just put it in your embossing folder, run it through your machine, and voila, you get this almost plasticky kind of feeling, embossed, colored, detailed embossing folder kind of thing. And it is really interesting, and I thought it was kind of fun to add to my card today. And it can kind of fall apart easily depending on how thick you get it. So you do have to kind of play with the technique and see if you like it and if it works very well for you. So, but I will link her channel below so that you can see her original thoughts on that. So I am stamping the image twice so that I can color the balloons, the Irish little clovers, separately because I kind of want those to pop up. And so I colored those, and then I'm going to try and match this Lovely Legs girl skirt kind of to this plaidish paper that I have. And I'm adding some greens and grays, and I kind of have to fuss around with it a bit because I didn't really, the pattern on there isn't really defined. So I kind of had to play with it and see if I could get it layered with the colors the way I liked. And so it did take me a little while, and so I did not show you much of my coloring in that, just because I really went back and forth on what colors to use and how I could get them to look more plaid-like. I did fussy cut my clovers out, and I'm going to be using those a little bit later. I cut out all of my pieces for my card for sketch 11, and I used all 4 of the different patterns of paper that I had printed from the bonus printable. I am going to tape those together on the back side so that I can line them up with all the extra kind of edges on one end, and I do trim it down so that they all are even. And then I'm adding this clear packing tape, and I just wanted it to look a little bit more bright and shiny, and I didn't print it on like glossy like photo paper or anything. So I decided to just put this packing tape on top of it, and you just lay it down and then trim it down around the edges, and it just gives it a more glossy, shiny appearance. I then glued that down to just a single layer of cardstock that is 5x7 size so that I can get everything on there before actually putting it on my card base. This is adjusted for a 5x7 card, so I do have the measurements, and I will put those in the description box below if you would like to create a 5x7 card rather than the typical A2 size that Kendra gives us the measurements for. The reason I chose to do a 5x7 card is because the stamp is about 5.5 inches long, and while it will fit on an A2 size card, it will fit the entire length of the card, and I just wanted to have more space around it to give some of the details that I like to add. Rather than using paper for the 1/2 and 1/4 inch strips on the side, I went ahead and used some 1/4 inch ribbon in yellow, and then I used 1 inch ribbon in the kind of burlap looking. I went ahead and trimmed off the white excess there. It will have white showing on the card base on the sides, but it was uneven on what was left after I put everything down, so I just trimmed it off, and I will put that on my base and get it more even when I lay that out. So for the background piece, I didn't cut around the balloons really carefully the second time because I didn't need all of that to be shown. You won't be able to see it. So I should have been a little bit more careful, but I didn't. And anyway, I'm laying a couple white pieces of scrap paper behind the top area so that it's laying flatter, because that green embossing piece is kind of keeping it raised up a little bit, and I wanted to make sure it was lying as flat as possible. And I did use a little bit of a blue colored pen just in the background there, so that, because you will see those shining through the balloons that I'm going to pop up on the foam tape. Initially, I did use glue to put the embossing green piece on there, but it wasn't sticking well, so I ended up using some double-sided adhesive tape, and then I also have to end up going on the side there and putting a little bit of foam tape because it was just kind of popping up a little bit on the side, and I didn't want it floppy at all because it would just break more easily. Today is a video hop, and there is a giveaway, so if you would like an opportunity to win an official patron membership to Cards by Kendra's challenges, then you should go down to the description box and fill out the giveaway form. And also, please hit that playlist and watch all of the videos in the hop. All of the design team members who are participating are sure to give you lots of great inspiration for Kendra's Card Challenge number 17. To have access to all of the sketches for the challenge, be sure to check out the Cards by Kendra's Patreon page in the description box. You only need to sign up for a free membership in order to have access to the sketches. However, there are opportunities to support Kendra and her continuing on with these challenges for us at some paid levels and get some extra perks and bonuses. There are also opportunities to win prizes with the monthly color challenge or the individual card sketches as well if you are unable to complete a full set of 15 cards. Because I'm out of my regular card stock for my bases, I only have this thinner card stock that I don't usually use for anything except for layering. So I decided to go ahead and layer the inside of the card so that it was more sturdy, using some of this really pretty paper and adding some little tags. With these layers inside and then the layers I did on the outside as well, this card does not feel flimsy at all, and that is very important to me when I'm sending cards. I want them to feel very nice and strong and solid and not get squished easily in the mail. I managed to get the Let the Shenanigans sentiment be put on crooked, and that was bugging me. So I do end up going back and removing that and putting a new one on straight, but I didn't show that in the video clips. The last thing I did was to add some glossy accents to these balloons. I wanted the front ones in particular to really shine and give it a more three-dimensional kind of look, and I really love how that made those really stand out. This about finishes up my card, and I am so grateful for you staying for the whole entire video and hitting that like and subscribe button. I hope you would go to all of the other video contributors to the hop and check out the Colorado Craft Company, and also go to Cards by Kendra and check out the video to introduce Challenge 17 and all the instructions for how you can participate. Thanks for coming. Bye. Bye-bye.